Valley, the largest plain in Italy, 50,000 kilometres covering 5 regions in the north of the country, irrigated by the river of the same name. More than 20 million people live here, the richest and most industrialised area of the country, but also one of the most polluted. The main reason is geographic location.
It's a plain bordered by the Alps that block the wind, and so the pollution is trapped. It cannot disperse because with the mountains all around, we find ourselves in a basin with no ventilation. The pollutants accumulate and stay put.
A geographical handicap made worse by industrial emissions, road traffic, heating and livestock farming. We're in Lombardy, an area with the highest number of intensive livestock farms in Italy, an activity that produces ammoniac, one of the main air pollutants.
Look, this map shows the ammonia emissions in the Po Valley. They're concentrated in the areas where we find intensive farming, rearing both cattle and pigs.
According to a study by the NGO Greenpeace, intensive livestock farms in Italy are the second biggest cause of the production of fine particles. They poison the air in the countryside, but also in the cities. These measuring stations, spread over the whole of the Lombardy region, control the levels of particulate matter that are invisible to the naked eye, the PM10 and PM2.5.
The PM10 and PM2.5 are particles that are found in the atmosphere and that enter our bodies. They are inhaled through the trachea and then go into our respiratory system. And the PM2.5 are a subcategory that are even finer. They can reach the alveoli in our lungs.
For 20 years, Dr. Balestreri has been studying the risks to human health caused by these fine particles. They can enter into the bloodstream and spread through the entire body. Since 2013, these fine particles have been declared carcinogenic by the World Health Organization.
The fine particles cause an inflammatory reaction once they enter the body, which can affect someone's lifespan by causing cardiovascular problems, respiratory diseases, tumours on the lungs, and leukemia.
A particularly worrying situation for the local population. Paola Tacchini lives in Cremona. This Lombardy province is particularly affected by the pollution. In 2020, between 150 and 200 deaths per 100,000 inhabitants were attributed to fine particles.
I look at that fog and know that it's not just water vapour, but also fine particle pollution. And we have to breathe in all of that and ruin our health. It's devastating.
Following a breast cancer diagnosis in 2017, she became aware of the dangers of her surroundings. The province of Cremona has one of the highest levels of cancer in Italy.
I started asking myself questions. How is it if I don't drink, don't smoke, I'm physically active, and I have no cases of cancer in my family, then why me? I don't feel protected by the state. They probably don't want anyone to know, and so we get the impression that they're minimizing the problem that we have here in the Po Valley.
The region's representatives consider the EU objectives on air quality levels for 2030 to be unattainable here.
The objectives of the new European directive will be very difficult to achieve here, because it would mean putting a halt on our agriculture, prohibiting transportation, and forbidding households to have heating. It would have a devastating impact on our economy.
Meanwhile, local residents are trying as best they can to live with this invisible enemy.
I'm confident that with the new generations who are more aware, things will improve.
I hope that the future here will be greener.
A greener future with less pollution. For many people living in the Po Valley, for now, this seems like wishful thinking.